Good evening, I'm Matt McCoy. Another game is under the belt and another opponent denied a W by the Tide. You're looking live at Bryant-Denny Stadium, where thousands of fans are piling out of the stadium after the Tide defeated the Mean Green with a score of 41-0. With this win, the Tide is now 3-0 and face their first SEC opponent next week here in Tuscaloosa against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, earlier today, the sounds of the $1 Million Band and cheers from the crowd filled the streets for the Elephant Stomp. The Stomp is a tradition where the MDB marches from the quad to the stadium with fans filing in behind them, with the band screaming "Roll Tide" the whole way. And just before the Elephant Stomp, thousands of fans lined up on the Walk of Champions to watch the Tide make their way through the crowd and into the stadium. The Walk of Champions got its start in 2006 with the completion of the north end zone, and the Walk of Champions is in front. WVUA spoke with some Tide faithful about it, why it's such a great new tradition.
Just the tradition and the atmosphere, and just, you know, the way everybody treats everybody. It's just a wonderful experience. And, you know, I've got a 3-year-old son too, and as soon as he is able to experience something like this, I'll start bringing him as well.
Game day, bringing my grandson down here, letting him see Nick Saban and the team get off the bus. There's nothing more you could ask for.
I like to watch the people play football.
Alabama football fans will find just about anywhere to celebrate and watch the Tide perform. Many fans grab their chairs, grills, and TVs and watch the game right on the University of Alabama quad. Some Bama fans chose to spend their game day outside under their tents with food and drinks rather than inside the stadium. WVUA spoke to some Alabama fans who say that tailgating with their family and friends is just a better atmosphere for them.
Pretty much prefer to watch it out here. It's I don't know, we got the food out here and all our friends, and just I actually had a ticket to the game and gave it to somebody else so I could watch it out here. Actually, we watch every home game out here on the quad most of the time.
Yes, I do. Hey, when you're out here, hey, your friends all around you, you get to grill and all that. You can't do it inside.
I think it's going to be a pretty big blowout, just like the experts.
A football game late last night in Pennsylvania came to a sudden stop after a massive fight broke out on the sideline. Early in the fourth quarter, following a kickoff return, players rushed to the side. Things quickly escalated to pushing and punching, leaving referees hurt on the ground. Mixed in with the brawl were people trying to break up the fight. The head referee is taking video from the fight to a meeting on Tuesday. Disciplinary action is expected to happen. In tonight's election, watch football met up with stumping for one Republican presidential candidate. John Huntsman was vying for the college football fan vote at the Clemson-Auburn game today. Huntsman talked with tailgaters along the Avenue of Champions at Death Valley. He also campaigned at the University of South Carolina game. South Carolina will be the first Southern state to hold a primary in the election cycle. In other news, witnesses are calling pilot Jimmy Leeward a hero after his plane narrowly dodged hundreds of spectators at an air race show in Reno, Nevada. Officials say Leeward and at least 8 others are dead, while dozens are injured from last night's crash. A memorial service for the pilot was scheduled for this afternoon. Shelby Lynn has the latest on this tragic accident, but I do need to warn you, some of the video you're about to see may be disturbing for some.
The death toll continues to climb after a plane crashed Friday at an air show in Reno, Nevada. However, witnesses at the air show said the casualty figures could have been much worse and that the pilot's last-second actions saved lives.
I think that pilot, in the last 2 seconds, pulled up because he saw the bleachers, and I would guess he probably saved 200 to 300 other people. And I don't mean any disrespect to the injured, but I would consider him to be a hero because he was going for the bleachers, and he pulled up and did what I think was his best job to hit the tarmac.
The pilot, 74-year-old Jimmy Leeward, lost control of his vintage plane during the national championship air races and air show. The real estate developer and renowned stunt pilot from Ocala, Florida, narrowly missed the grandstand full of spectators and instead crashed into box seats.
Do you get the impression he was trying to steer away from the crowd?
Oh, I think so. I think the pilot is a hero. I mean, he had to be fighting those controls.
The NTSB is working on identifying what caused the crash. I'm Shelby Lynn reporting from Atlanta.
The National Transportation Safety Board says the full investigation could take 6 to 9 months. Back here in Alabama, the grand reopening of the Black Historic Safe House Museum today shows us that the dream is still very much alive. The museum got its name from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was hidden there on a visit to Greensboro during the Civil Rights Movement. The museum was a collaboration from both the University of Alabama and Auburn University, with UA students making the films for the museum and Auburn students helping design the new museum. One of the designers, Candace Rhymes, says the museum is meant to honor both the civil rights leaders as well as other activists whose names aren't heard as often.
We have to keep the dream alive, and we have to continue the spirit of what everyone went through to fight for justice. And so we think that the additions to this space, future generations can still learn about what happened here in the rural parts, not only in the larger cities, and kind of the people that were behind the movement.
Designers hope that the new renovations will attract tourists and bring the community together. Today, staff and residents at Morning Point Assisted Living presented Tuscaloosa County first responders with certificates of appreciation. The group held a reception this morning to honor the hard work of the first responders and the volunteers in the wake of the April 27th tornado. Some of the first responders in attendance was Tuscaloosa Police Chief Steve Anderson. Morning Point Food Director Sherry Carter says they just wanted to show their appreciation to all the dedicated individuals.
And we want to do something for the community to say thank you, to give back, because they do so much for us.
The event was the conclusion to the National Assisted Living Week.